One of the things we love here at 2NURFM is when we see students come through our doors and we really see them start to thrive and come into their own and do some amazing things. Jack Hodgins, I think you fit that description. Welcome to the morning show.
It's great to be here.
Now, you're first year open foundations at the moment at the university.
Yep, that's right.
But you have a passion for radio and you've been with us for how long now?
Oh, just over a year now, I think, Sarah. Yeah.
Now, you've come in and Graham, who does production, said, the Jack's really exceptional. He's going to do some amazing things. So you've been involved now and you've pretty much taken on the project of our Wellbeing show. For people that may not know it, can you tell us about the Wellbeing show?
Yeah, so Wellbeing is a show that's going to be on 2NUR on Mondays at 12:05am.
But you can also podcast that at any time, I'd like to say.
But yeah, so what we do on the Wellbeing is we look at the most pressing mental health and physical health topics around, and we get people like experts from all over the world, all the universities all over the world, and we also talk to lived experience people, so people who have actually kind of had the things we're talking about. So we've got a series on PTSD coming up. So, for example, we've spoken to many people who have had PTSD. So we like to get as many perspectives as we can.
Now, for the post-traumatic stress disorder, that is going to be a 16-week series or thereabouts?
14 week, yeah.
Obviously, It is a huge one to cover. Now, you've got some amazing people that you are interviewing as part of this series, including a 9/11 survivor.
Yes, the 9/11 survivor, William Jimeno, his name is. But they made a movie about his life. Oliver Stone directed it. Nicolas Cage starred in it, and we managed to get him on the show. And that was it was an amazing experience to be able to talk to him about those experiences he had. And yeah, he still suffers with PTSD to this day, but he manages it. But yeah.
Jack, this is a huge thing for someone your age to be finding the calibre of interviewees that you're doing and then having to project the series, having to project the questions. How are you going doing all of that? That'll be a lot of research, and I'd imagine Google's your best buddy at the moment.
Oh, it certainly is my best friend. Google is where I start, and pretty much that's what I use to get to source the people. We usually look at authors who have authored books on PTSD, for example, of what we're doing. And we look up CVs of people from universities all over the world to really try and get the best possible program we can.
So has this been a passion of yours for a long time to interview people and get these stories, or is it just something you've fallen into and then realised you have this flair for?
Well, I think it's something I've fallen into, but I've always loved research, and there's a lot of research in this show to do. So, yeah, I've fallen into it, but I love it a lot.
So some of the other topics that you've covered, you've spoken to a partner of an alcoholic, and I know a big part of that was this person saying, look, I can't take on the guilt. I can't blame myself. So you're speaking to a lot of vulnerable people. Yep. Have you got one story or have you got one moment that sticks out in your mind where you were just blown away and you sort of went, wow, this is really raw. Where do I take this? Oh,
definitely. I think especially when I first started, because I've done a few like that have been really raw. And I think, it's that moment where I organise the interviews, I do these scripts, but then I'm there, on the Zoom call or on the phone call, and I'm just like, I'm actually talking to this person that's gone through these things. Like, how do I show empathy? How do I, really get the best out of this interview? And so, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow. It's some big stuff. What are some of the other topics that you've covered?
So we've got PTSD coming up. We've covered addiction. So we did a whole big series on addiction. So alcohol addiction, gambling addiction, drug addiction. So that kind of ran for the last a few months, I think it was. And so those are the ones that we've really been focusing on for the last few months. And then after PTSD, we're going to do one on anorexia, but that's a long way away now.
So you obviously lock these in well in advance.
Yes.
And you have people ready to go. For anyone at home, and I know there'll be plenty of people going, wow, I'd love to have a listen to this. Yes, it is coming on of a Monday night at midnight to begin with, but it's podcasted, and that's what this format is just perfect for. So at any time you can go to 2nurfm.com.au, click on Wellbeing, and all the podcasts are there. Now, each episode runs for about half an hour in length.
That's right, yep.
Jack, how long does it take to edit one of these? How long do your initial interviews go for?
Well, they vary. So the one that I did with the 9/11 survivor went for about an hour and a half.
Whoa, that's a lot of editing.
Yes, a lot of editing. So how long does it take to edit? I wouldn't know. It varies. It can be really long. It can be, it depends how the interviewee talks. If they say a lot of ums or, I have to cut those out. So depends, but it can take hours.
Well, Well, Jack, we just wish you all the best. We're so excited that you're doing these great things here with 2NURFM. We can't wait to hear where you take it next, but it does start on Monday. And your first one is a regular, I believe, Claire Collins will be
Claire
joining
Collins,
you.
Yes, from the University of Newcastle. That's the first one coming up. Yep.
And then, of course, going to that series of post-traumatic stress disorder, and you can find that at 2NURFM.com.au. Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you.
What an inspiring young man.
2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.